here. What about Ian Wright's comment about Saka going to left back? I mean, this has triggered gooners everywhere, Igal.
Simply put, I don't agree with Ian Wright on the stance of saying Saka should play left back. But at the same time, I'm not going mad and I'm not calling him a sellout and I'm not going crazy on Ian Wright. I think that is a little bit too much, guys. Like, let's be realistic here. You don't lose your legendary status for giving a take on football. Like, calm down. It's not that deep. But one thing I do hear, Saka at left back doesn't make sense for me. Yes, he's played left back previously, but if you're going to play him in a position, you might as well say, if you want balance, maybe play him on the left side. I hear that, but left back, you're asking for trouble. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, so let me throw a spanner in the works.
Go on then.
Luke Shaw,
come on in, Malfoy.
Luke Shaw's clearly injured, and I don't know why we take an injured left back to a tournament.
Yep.
Trippier going forward, I think that experiment on the left. I think that experiment on the left is
terrible,
not working. So who else can we play on a left back that is as good as Saka going forward?
Joseph Gomez, left back.
There you go.
Honestly, I think there's more chance of Saka playing there. I'll be honest.
Bro, Saka's not a defender. Saka's not a defender. He can play left wing back maybe. You could play left wing, but playing as a left back, you are.
That's where he was sat in a three at the back with Stones, Walker, and.
So now you're asking to change his whole shape to play one player out of position.
It's more like, Palmer is better as on the right side than Saka. I think he's a better footballer and we're more useful for England. And Saka, as I said before, Saka is a defender turned attacker.
Say us, Paddy. Say us.
No. Saka is such a limited footballer going forward. It's very one-dimensional. There's no star quality there. I'll always say this. He's very efficient. He's worked at it very well. But ultimately, he doesn't have that star power that's going to come out of nowhere like a Palmer might do. Palmer has Messi-esque tendencies. Foden, Messi-esque tendencies. Saka, no. Emil Heskey-esque tendencies,
One second. Just because Cole Palmer strives in chaos at Chelsea and he strives somewhat in chaos at England for England doesn't mean he has Messi-esque tendencies. That is mental. What are you talking about, bro?
No, you're putting.
You said Messi-esque tendencies. What Messi-esque tendencies does he have? The touch on the ball?
To being able, but no, you're hanging on to the Messi name too much here.
No, you said it. I didn't say it.
Saka or Palmer can just have the ball, bang, bang, bang. He has that star quality, that extra, just je ne sais quoi.
You've seen that in 19 minutes for England to say he has Messi-esque qualities.
He looked far. No. Palmer in general, but his cameo off the bench for England was nice, and it was he looked more threatening than Saka did in the entirety of the 3 other games.
Of course, he played 2 passes and shot the ball directly at the goal. That was more threatening than Saka was in the whole 17 minutes that he played. Fair enough. But to say he's has Messi-esque qualities and Saka has no star quality is ridiculous, bro. It's ridiculous.
I'm being very sensational in my language, but I think my point, there's value to the point. If someone would, I'm obviously saying that Messi-esque makes people, that's a trigger for some people.
On Wrighty's point, just before we come to Carl, before we come to Carl Palmer, I wouldn't actually put him at right back, but I would think about putting Saka on at left back, at left wing. I've been saying this for about 12 months now, and I stand by it. I understand inverting your wingers. I understand how it can work, but Kane just looks like he needs people squaring that ball up to him. And putting Saka, who's left-footed, on the left-hand side, making him go on the outside and cutting balls back. That way, Trippier inverting doesn't hurt us as much because you've got the natural width with Bukayo Saka. That makes more sense than left back to me. Then what you do is you can bring Palmer into the team on the right-hand side. So for me, this isn't about, I'm not even doing a Palmer versus Saka situation. Saka's been great for England, but I believe the imbalance in our team, and I think the central hub of that is the left-hand side, and then you've got the lack of control in the middle. Of course, it's going to impact the right-hand side because that's predominantly where we're going to try and attack down. Teams can then double up on Saka, which nullifies him. And then England look weak. How do I see this? How do I recognize it? Man United have been the reverse for many years, where it all goes down our left-hand side and our right-hand side has been almost non-existent. and then it's easier to double up on our left because they know we're not a threat on the right hand side. And England have got to get that balance right. I'm not married to any one particular player playing due to their status or due to what they've done in the past. I think that the vast majority of the team that started the first 3 games, their position should be under major threat going into this game. So if Saka is dropped and Gordon and Palmer are in, I'm not going to sit there and go, that is a disgrace. I think we need to shake this up. I think we need to throw some new blood on the ground, new blood into the team. I also want to see the likes of Saka and co respond to that as well, because I think it's an important part. And one of the biggest names I do think needs to be dropped, and I never thought I'd be saying this going into a major
Jude
tournament.
Bellingham.
Harry Kane.
No, Harry Kane.
No, Jude Bellingham.
Harry Kane and Bellingham.
Bellingham's name's there, right? But Bellingham has at the very least had a game where he's been brilliant and he's scored. The problem is with Bellingham is that he's been misprofiled. He is not a controller. He isn't going to dictate the game in the middle like Paul Scholes used to. He is a little bit like Bruno, but without the creativity. He is an advanced midfielder who he's more of a Lampard who's going to burst into the good on the ball, but never seen as a maestro on it. He is going to burst into the box and he's going to score you goals. But you need creativity for him to score. Yet we're not getting that creativity because of the imbalance on our wings, because of what we're doing on the left-hand side, where we're playing Foden, Trippier, etc., as we've mentioned. But I look at Kane, and there hasn't been a single facet to his game, barring that one chance he scored that fell to him by chance, that has been good. Hold-up play, awful. He can't run anymore. He can't press. None of that's been on display.
So if we take Kane out, Terry, who do you put in?
Ollie
What's
Watkins.
the front three? Because
Before you even say that, does Southgate have the cojones to make a move like that?
No.
Everybody here, be honest.
No.
He doesn't. So why are we talking about things he would never do? Terry, unfortunately, for England, it is an all-star team and there's politics. The player of the season, one of the best strikers in Europe, Kyle Walker is one of the senior figures in the team. No matter what kind of performance they have, certain players in this team will never get dropped. That's my opinion. And with Harry Kane, he could not score for the rest of the tournament. And the only time he's going to get subbed off is late in the game when you need a winner, and nobody's going to blame the manager.
I understand you, and it may not happen, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't have the conversation, Igal, because I think as fans, we've got to put our opinions out there. And for me, I would look at Harry Kane's position, and I think it would improve us, not just because he's been poor generally, but the kick up the backside that gives everybody else. Kane's been dropped. I've got to perform. There is we have become, and how old are you, Emery?
28.
Okay, so you were 20 when you were sort of 21, 22 when we actually had a decent tournament under Southgate. Most of my life, I've seen England, since 96 onwards, we have just picked our best players on paper and not our best team. We have not dropped players that need to be dropped. We made 2 terrible decisions. 3, actually. In 2002, Beckham shouldn't have gone. He had the broken metatarsal. We had a special pair of boots made that had like a plate on the inside to protect his toe. He didn't put in the performances needed. The message that sent to the rest of the team is none of you can get into this squad. Even an injured David Beckham is here over you. That isn't a dig at Beckham. I love David Beckham. Shouldn't have gone. Wayne Rooney shouldn't have gone in 2006. He was injured. He didn't admit it. He pulled a groin muscle in training, which made him even more injured, still played. 2010, he was injured. Shouldn't have gone to the tournament. Now, yes, that would have been 2 World Cups without Wayne Rooney, but it would have been 2 World Cups where England would have had a fit striker who deserved to be there. The problem is with England is that, we take Luke Shaw's been, this is how I know history is repeating itself. We've taken Luke Shaw to a tournament. He hasn't trained with the group yet. And we're about to hit the knockout phases. When there are natural left-footed left-backs available who are English that could have gone, that may not be as good as Luke Shaw in and on their pomp, but are better than him right now because he isn't fit. We are repeating the history of my childhood and my adolescence when it comes to England, of the superstars being picked, injured players going to tournaments, and underperforming stars not being dropped.
So who'd you put in then? If it's not Kane,
put in Ollie Watkins or Ivan Toney. Put in either of them.
Okay, so let's say Watkins goes in the number 9, right? Who's on the right, who's on the left, and who's in the 10?
Saka's on the left, Foden's on the right.
Palmer, Gordon, Bellingham in the 10.
I'd go, just to throw a spanner in the works.
You're just going to drop Saka?
Yes.
I'd put Declan
Based
Rice
on
in the 8 because that's what he's done for Arsenal all
good enough.
season. I'd put Mainu
But
or
you also
Wharton in
want
the
to drop
6 and
you
Foden
also
in the
want to
10.
drop 1 second. You also want to drop Jude Bellingham also.
Yeah, the guy looks
Yes.
absolutely
No,
knackered.
no,
He's
no,
got-
no,
but
not
he
drop
looks
Jude Bellingham.
ruined. He looks
Jude Bellingham needs to-
absolutely ruined.
He needs to play in a more advanced role. Like he's not a holding. He needs to play in like a 10 where he can influence.
So just to get it straight, you want to drop one of the players who scored in the tournament. You want to drop one
Yeah,
of the
we
guys
also want to drop Kane, but he
who's
scored.
been one of the creators in the tournament, and you also want to drop another guy who scored in the tournament. In my opinion, you guys are all looking for a savior, but the actual solution, in my opinion, would not be just look for a savior. Try to get the best out of what you currently have instead of trying to say, you know what, drop these guys. It's a short tournament. If you drop your best players, against Slovakia in the round of 16, it's actually crazy.
They've just
You don't
drawn to
drop all your best
Slovenia.
players.
They've just drew 0-0 to Slovenia.
You don't make a
It's not
statement.
working.
You make a statement in the third game of the group stages. You don't make a statement in your
No,
I get what you're
yeah,
saying. But
I think you're
Spain
wrong,
made
man.
10 changes.
You don't
They
make
kept
a
everyone
statement
other than
in
Laporte.
the knockout rounds, Terry, or
Why?
you're out.
Hang on a minute,
Imagine you don't play Saka.
Gal, where you're wrong is this: we haven't performed well, and this team hasn't performed. Now listen,
But you play less quality of players, and you're going to perform better. Doesn't make sense.
well, it's this is the thing. There is no guarantees that making those changes makes us better. You are right, but for me, I'll ask you this question, Gal. What is the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over again
and expecting different results.
Yeah.
So we picked a particular team and system 3 games running, and we've won games, but we have scraped over the line. We've drawn 2-1-1, and we have scraped ourselves over the line. We can't keep, as well as I do, we can't keep getting away with that, right? At some point, we're going to lose. So I would rather, and again, you're not wrong, Igao, in the sense of there's no guarantees it works, but I would rather try and change something to improve the performances to give us more chance of winning than stick to doing what we're doing. So I'm aware there's a calculated risk to dropping 2 or 3 of our star players. But as I've said my whole life, whenever we have just stuck by the stars, whether they're performing or not, whether they're injured or not, we have not won. Why am I so excited about Man United's future? Because we're suddenly doing something this summer that we have not done before. We are bucking a trend. If Ineos came in and we're just doing the same things that Woodward was doing, there'd be no excitement from me. If we just keep doing the same things that we've been failing in the last 3 games, why would our hope change? Why would our belief change? Why would the players' hope and belief change?
Let me say one thing. I am not even talking about Saka. Remove Saka because everyone's saying Arsenal. Forget about Saka. Say Saka's on the bench. To me, it is even more crazy if you take Saka out of the side, Jude Bellingham out of the side, and Harry Kane out of the side. So if you're saying take one or two of them, because I'm hearing all sorts of different stories. What Paddy's saying, for example, he wants Bellingham out of the team, he wants Saka out of the team, and he wants Harry Kane out of the team, in addition to Foden already being out of the team. Do you not see how much of a shock to the system that can be? Yes, maybe it can work. But in my opinion, in a short tournament where you've already played 3 games, you don't want to make that many changes. One, Harry Kane's one of your best players and one of the best strikers. If you play to his strengths, you might get more service out of it. Number 2, Jude Bellingham is one of the best young players. He's a Ballon d'Or candidate, and Southgate has made him look shocking. And he's already produced a moment for you guys and scored a goal for you guys in one of those games. Now, if you want to say play Anthony Gordon and play Cole Palmer, take Saka out of it, I don't mind. But to also then say take out 2 more of your best attackers is ridiculous.
But like you keep saying,
now, Terry, you are making changes. You're making changes in the midfield. You are making changes. You're making creative changes in the midfield. You don't need to change the whole front line to start getting more goals. You don't need to do that. That is crazy.
Yeah,
why is nobody talking about playing Trent at right back? Why is Kyle Walker on the pitch?
Because his defensive side of things, like in the bigger games, when we come up against the Kylian Mbappe, no offense, Paddy, but we know Walker's going to be better in that situation.
Is he though? I think Walker's like there's a thing. Walker's been awful.
Someone like that, I think he is.
The reason why Walker's been preferred, the reason why people prefer Walker is because his recovery pace. But the reason he has to recover is because he made a mistake in the first place. Like Trent is a game changer from right back, and this myth that he can't defend, it's one of these football kind of takes that people let themselves believe because it's like it's not true. The man can defend. He's completed football from right back before the age of 2021. If he couldn't defend, he wouldn't be right back for Liverpool. You know, it's a crazy take. Walker should be. This is the England team. Let me tell you right now: Pickford, Trent, Guehi, Stones, Gomez. Hold the midfielders: Rice, Mainu. Yeah, number 10, Bellingham. Right, Palmer. Left, Gordon. Striker, Watkins. Do that against Slovenia, you win 4-0. Fact.
Viewers, give us your thoughts. Give us your feelings on that. I've got a few super chats here. This is a setup, diabolical, but great business. I don't know what you mean. That was from much earlier in the show, Ronnie. You've got to specify what you're talking about there. Saka is not... I get that, but I don't quite know what he means. Saka is just not on Palmer's level. Just get on with it, mate. That doesn't mean Saka is rubbish. System helps him at Arsenal egal. Ignorant.
1 second. I'm not the one that's ignorant here. I never said any comment negative about Cole Palmer. I'm simply saying Saka playing left back does not make sense to me. If you want to play him as a left winger, fair enough. I've not said nothing negative about Cole Palmer. I like Cole Palmer. I call him Abdi Palmer, for God's sakes, because he chilled my boy in Dubai.
But you can admit Palmer is better than Saka.
I don't think Palmer is better than Saka as a football player. No,
you're wrong.
You can tell me that if you. I think this Palmer Saka debate is simply the same recycled debate that we have over any two players that play the same position. We pick things that we like about one player, and then we pick things we don't like about the other player, but we never actually mention who's actually better based on their body.
Fans do though, Miguel. That's what Messi and Ronaldo have been doing for the last 15 years.
So I choose at this point when I hear Saka Cole Palmer debates or Saka anybody debates until I actually feel like that player is threatening, I just laugh it off. At this point, I don't feel Cole Palmer has done anything to threaten anybody's position. If you think he's better for England, fair enough. And if he plays better, good for you guys because you guys win.
Joshua here says Beckham went mainly because of the free kick versus Greece. I understand why Beckham went, but if a player's not fit, they shouldn't be there. Simple as that. Saka, left back in this Haram Southgate system is very different. Left back in Pep systems stop the shoehorn. Either play him right wing or drop him. Yeah, it's a great point there, AJ. It's a great point there, my friend. I'm an Aussie Arsenal fan, so all I want is Arsenal players to do well. I couldn't care less for England. In saying that, if Saka is going left back and Palmer is going right wing, makes your team better, than do it. And listen, I think that I didn't watch what Ian Wright has said, to be fair. So what I'm about to say could be completely wrong.
Kept it simple.
But I almost feel a bit like he's essentially stating that left-hand side is imbalanced. Maybe we should use Saka over there to try and create some balance and get Palmer on the right. I think people have been very pedantic with it, as opposed to... And we do this a lot in the social media world, and pundits are part of that. We hear what someone says, and I think we ignore what they're trying to say and go by the actual words they are using sometimes, as opposed to what they're implying. So, yeah, I think the reaction towards Wrighty has been crazy.